Okay, so let's get right into it. The AI boom is obviously massive, and it's making giants out of companies like Nvidia. But for every superstar engine, you need a whole crew of mechanics keeping it on the track. Today, we're going to look at a company that might just be the AI boom's master mechanic. Or maybe, a better way to put it is, it's Plumber, Vertiv.
You hear the term the cloud all the time, right? But let's be real, it's not some fluffy thing floating up in the sky. It lives inside these enormous, power-guzzling buildings called data centers. They're just packed to the gills with servers running 24/7. And now, with AI pushing these servers harder than ever, they generate an absolutely insane amount of heat. So the billion-dollar question is, what stops them from literally melting down? Well, that's exactly where Vertiv enters the picture.
So here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to break down what Vertiv is and the really critical role it plays. Then we'll look at how they make their money. We'll check the financial vitals from their latest reports, hear what management is telling investors, and then we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways. So, first up, what exactly is Vertiv? Let's pull back the curtain on this unseen engine that's really powering our digital world.
At its heart, Vertiv builds and services something they call critical digital infrastructure. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but it's actually pretty simple. Just think about all the absolutely essential hardware: the power delivery, the backup battery systems, and, most importantly, the crazy advanced cooling systems that a data center needs to run without ever failing. That's Vertiv's whole world. Let's use an analogy here, because I think this makes it click. Imagine a data center is a super high-performance race car. A company like Nvidia, they build the ridiculously powerful AI engine. So what does Vertiv do? Well, they build pretty much everything else. They build the specialized liquid cooling to keep that engine from exploding, the complex electrical wiring that delivers the fuel, and the entire chassis that holds it all together. They aren't the flashy engine, but without them, that engine is just a really expensive paperweight.
Okay, so that's what they do. We get it. But how does this translate into actual dollars? Let's take a look at the business model.
So you can really break their business down into two main buckets. First, you've got products. This is the actual physical gear they sell: the heavy-duty cooling units, the power management systems, the server racks. That's a big, one-time sale. But then, and this is so important, you have the services bucket. This is all the ongoing upkeep, preventative maintenance, remote monitoring, expert consulting. This part creates a really nice, steady, and predictable stream of revenue for them.
And make no mistake, Vertiv is a global operation. If we look at their sales breakdown for the full year 2025, you can see the Americas is by far their biggest market, making up a huge 62% of their business. But they've got a really solid presence in both Asia-Pacific and Europe, the Middle East, and Africa too, which shows you just how wide their reach is.
All right, now for the part everybody loves, the numbers. Does the company's performance on paper actually back up this exciting story? Let's check the vitals from their latest reports.
Let's start right at the top with revenue. In the first quarter of 2025, Vertiv brought in $2.04 billion. Now, what's really impressive about this number is that it sailed past what Wall Street analysts were predicting. Beating expectations like that is always a really positive signal.
Growing your sales is one thing, but turning those sales into actual profit is the name of the game. And that's where this next number, earnings per share, or EPS, comes in. Think of it as a slice of profit that belongs to just one share of stock. And here, wow, Vertiv's EPS grew by a whopping 49% compared to the same time last year. That tells you they're getting much more efficient.
Okay, this number is so crucial to understand. As of the second quarter, Vertiv had an order backlog of $8.5 billion. What's a backlog? Think of it like a giant line of confirmed pre-orders. It's business that's already on the books, waiting to be delivered. This gives investors a really clear window into future sales. And the fact that this line of pre-orders grew 21% from the year before, that just screams strong demand. And if you zoom out to look at the whole year, you can see this trend just keeps going. The company's sales are projected to jump from about $8 billion in 2024 to over $10.2 billion in 2025. I mean, that is a major leap in just 1 year, and it's all being fueled by that incredible demand for data center gear.
So the numbers are painting a pretty compelling picture. But what's the story behind the numbers? Let's get the inside scoop directly from the company's management.
When you listen to their earnings calls, management gives you a pretty balanced view. The tailwinds, the things going right, are powerful. You've got the AI revolution driving just incredible demand, which we see in those backlog numbers. They're also talking up a strategic collaboration with Nvidia and are really happy with how their high-margin services business is growing. But on the other side, they've got real headwinds. Things like tariffs are squeezing their profits, they're dealing with power shortages and tricky regulations in Europe, and let's be honest, it is a fiercely competitive market. And finally, some of their biggest projects have really long, unpredictable timelines.
But despite all those challenges, the overall tone from the leadership team is one of major confidence. Their executive chairman, Dave Coate, he summed it up perfectly. He said, "We're in a digital revolution that's got a long way to go, and data centers remain fundamental to all of us." That quote really just captures their long-term vision.
So, we've covered what Vertiv does, how it makes money, its financial health, and what management's thinking. Now let's put it all together for the final investor takeaway. All right, so let's boil it all down. The bull case, the optimistic view for Vertiv is pretty clear. It's a classic picks and shovels play for the AI gold rush. They sell the essential stuff everyone needs. That huge backlog gives you great visibility into future sales, the financial growth is there in black and white, and that services business adds a nice, stable base. Now, the bear case, the reasons for caution are just as important. They're up against huge competitors like Schneider and Eaton, they're exposed to global risks like tariffs, the stock has been on a wild ride, and those long sales cycles can make any single quarter's results kind of a nail-biter.
Which really leaves us with the central question you have to ask yourself. As AI continues to change everything, is Vertiv that quiet, essential plumber in the background, providing the picks and shovels that are going to power this revolution for the next decade?
And remember, this analysis is just meant to give you a clear, fact-based overview using the company's own documents. It is for educational purposes only, and it is absolutely not financial advice. We always encourage you to do your own deep dive research before making any